All right, so tonight is Conservation Commission meeting. It is October 12, 2023, and I'm calling the meeting to order. I'm introducing myself as Susan Cahalan, co-chair. Please introduce yourself.
Peter Coffin.
Leo Lighting.
Bob Sweet.
Okay.
Carl Hummel, remote.
So we have no open public meetings, but we do have some housekeeping and some things to discuss. You want to do the mail first or last?
You should deal with the people who are on the call because
Yeah.
it's already late.
Yeah, I agree with that myself too. Okay,
Go with Kyle Raposo.
hmm?
Go with Kyle Raposo, whatever.
Kyle, do you want to go?
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Yeah, so I had emailed I think just the general conservation email, and had corresponded with Carl. I have a detached garage permit that I am should be getting a final inspection on tomorrow. John's going to be coming out for, and realized when I built the house, we moved in 2018. We're over at 90 Park Street. We had moved in 2018. We had re-extended the order of conditions. I think until it expired in 2020. And then I hate to use the cliche COVID excuse, but COVID happened. I totally forgot to renew it. And I was just going through all my paperwork, getting that all in order to just kind of make sure everything was closed out, and realized that the order of conditions was never closed out. So just wondering, I emailed over to Carl just to figure out what the process was on that. The detached garage is finished. All the landscaping's complete. Driveway's been paved. Project's pretty much completed, and we're happily moved in, but just wanted to figure out what the next steps were.
Okay, if you can email me all the information like the DEP number, the plans, et cetera, we can prepare a certificate of compliance for you.
Okay.
You send that to the Concom email that I've been copying, and then Susan and I will get it.
Yeah.
We'll also have someone go out and do a site look at to make sure that the vegetation is set up and everything looks pretty, and,
Okay.
and the wetlands look nice.
Okay.
Have the silt fence and everything already been pulled out?
It has.
Okay.
It has. Yep.
So
Okay.
we'll put it on the agenda, and we should be able to get it signed and done at our next meeting.
Okay. And how often are the meetings?
Second and fourth Thursdays.
Yeah, twice a month.
All right. Perfect.
Thank you, Kyle.
Yeah, no problem. I'll send that stuff right over to you guys. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
And Ann? Hi, Ann.
You're muted, Ann.
Yep. Hi. I just had a question on Meadowbrook Woods, which is off of Park Street. It's town-owned land. There's some Phragmites that's growing in the wetlands, and it should be removed while it's not, a large amount. It's a small amount, just so we can stay on top of it. But the best time to remove it's October, September, October. And so I wasn't sure what the process was to do that, to get permission.
Well, my neighbor just mowed his all down. So- They're popping up everywhere, actually.
How do you intend on removing them? Because I think we could say it would have a negative determination that you're not going to impact the resource if you do it in the correct manner. So
Well, I talked to the wetlands group that I think takes the algae off of Lake Nipmunk from, they're in Upton.
yeah.
And
Yes.
he was saying that they would use a herbicide to do it.
So you're wanting to hire a firm to treat it. They would have to file notice of intent, and we can move real quick. Because I imagine it's been done before. But would the neighbors complain?
It's not really near any neighbors. It's just a little patch in the middle of Meadowbrook Woods in the wetlands. If they were going to fill out an NOI, can they do it in between meetings, or do they have to wait for the next Conservation Commission meeting?
No, they could fill it out ahead of time, bring it in.
Okay.
present.
Whose budget is this coming out of?
Probably the land use,
Okay,
because the CPA would have to be a town meeting vote, and that would be, well, the warrant's closed anyway, so.
okay, I just wanted to, what
Unless
I
you
would,
guys have money.
no, well, I have no idea. I don't have a clerk to tell me. What I'd like to propose is that
I can check.
Leah, since Leah knows about herbicides and may know more about this, that she and I work with you and Water and Wetland. If it is their recommendation that this treatment happen before our next meeting in 2 weeks, we'll say that the chair gets to exercise their emergency powers to do things that are time sensitive. In which case, I'd ask that the board vote now to authorize me to do that if necessary. Otherwise, if they say it'll wait, then we'll just have them come in 2 weeks.
I'll make a motion to authorize the chair to research the issue of Phragmites control and have the authority to start work before our next meeting.
Yeah, I second.
To act in an emergency capacity.
Yeah, I second.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons, one of the things the chairs get stuck doing.
Yeah, it's
And-
halfway through October, so I second that.
Exactly. So Leah, are you comfortable helping me out with this? Okay. So, have you been, Anne, have you been emailing people at Water and Wetland about this?
I'm talking to him on the phone. I don't even
Okay.
know how much it's gonna cost, so I first have to find that out to make sure we have enough money, you know.
Okay, then you'll start an email chain, or if I'm feeling well enough, I'll start one tomorrow or over the weekend.
I can start it. I'll start it.
Okay,
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night, Ann.
Motion is made and seconded. Is there a vote? Peter says aye.
Aye.
Bob says aye.
you don't get to say aye. I do, aye.
It's unanimous.
I need like a cheat sheet of rules.
Chair
Al,
doesn't
we
vote
miss
yes
you.
at that.
I think you're all set, Ann.
Glyphosate.
Motion-
Yeah, I was gonna stay for the conservation restriction meeting. I think you're gonna talk about conservation restrictions, so I was gonna sit in on that too.
All right, so,
And
so that takes care of the one, so now we can start with.
Well, that's what Tom is here for. Mike, are you here for the CR discussion as well? Mike is muted. And Tom is muted. If you
I'm
come
here.
on.
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Another person on the Zoom, on the Teams call is just Mike with no last name.
No,
Are they
that's Mike
working with you?
Pinko. It's Mike Pinko.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure exactly where he is at this second, but he
Okay.
gave me a heads up on this.
So you're both here for the CR stuff. Okay.
Right.
So I think we're ready to have Susan move to that agenda item.
So number 7, Susan.
It's number 7. Okay. I'm just blind.
Well, I'll start off that I was not able to see the original conservation restriction, but from the reports that Metacomet have submitted, especially the most recent one, I got some issues with walls being altered and disturbed. So, and I had been out on the site before they built, and there was a wall, and on one side was a wetland. And I know he had an agricultural use going on, and so NRCS worked with him, and we wanted to do things, and he was very amenable. And then maybe 3 years ago, he asked us permission to change some of the gates, stone walls on the road, so he could get some equipment in there. And so we worked with him on that and gave him permission, and I thought, okay, that's all good. But now Metacomet's reporting that they're internal stone walls that got biffed, and a lot of dirt being graded. So I'm sorry we haven't done our work properly, and I thank Mr. Bick and Mr. Penko for helping us do the right thing here, but I think you got to go out on a site visit
Yeah,
and with a plan in front of us and say, why'd you do this, or what's this, and have him explain why, and I don't know what else to do.
yeah.
Have them put it back.
Maybe, but first, we got to have a site visit, so it's,
Yep, I agree. It's really hard to figure out what's going on. I went there maybe a year ago, took a bunch of photographs and whatnot. I can pull those up, but we could do some comparisons, I guess.
but we should invite him to attend.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not necessary, but it would be, I would think, be useful. So if we had 4 or 5 people out there, it shouldn't take more than half an hour to see the site. And we don't have to solve it that day. Let's just go and get information and not try to solve it that day, and then come back at a regular scheduled meeting and try to figure out what the next step might be.
Tom, would you be interested in walking through this with us I mean, you know the site.
Yes,
Can you give a couple of days that would work for you that, we can all.
I'm retired, you tell me.
Okay. And I work my own business, so I can leave at any time. So,
Does anybody have a date that works better than
Well,
not?
I would love to have Micah Mendelia there because he has strong opinions, and let's do it on a Saturday because it's getting kind of
Okay.
dark for afternoon.
And
So-
he likes to do things early in the morning on Saturdays.
I'm okay with an early
Are you
Saturday
okay with
morning. I
that,
don't know
Tom?
I'm fine.
Okay.
I can-
Carl, do you want to reach out to Mike?
I can, well, the question is, do we want to schedule the site walk with the property owner? I mean, we're able to go on the conservation land, but if we want to go onto his property to look at things, we need to get him involved. So I would ask whether we try and schedule a meeting with him or not.
Can I suggest that, we get everybody on board and then try to pick a day so that we can all learn a little bit on this?
Yeah, it's a little awkward kind of scheduling. My sense is it's more important to meet with the owner. So we're trying to, if we choose a Saturday, we're trying to meet Mike's needs, our needs, and then maybe choose 2 Saturdays. Give the owner, hey, would like to meet either October 23rd and October 30th. What's best for you at 9 o'clock?
Okay, I have other commitments the next, those 2 Saturdays, but I will see about getting something scheduled.
May I interject? Historically, he's been opposed to having site visits when their season was open, and he would like to do them earlier, before the deer season opens. And that I would suggest that maybe if you're open to a Sunday meeting on the property, it might be better for him because they don't allow hunting during season on Sundays.
Okay,
Here's a
So,
suggestion.
When does that start?
Your season is early, but hunting season, archery is like.
Isn't it like, yeah, it's all like arrow.
I think it's already in progress.
Sunday afternoon would work for me. I'd rather not Sunday mornings, but
I'm open to anything that your board decides.
So you got 2 for Sunday afternoon if that, and 3 if you count Tom. So 4, Leah would be good for Sunday as well.
okay.
So,
This is Mike. I had
He's
trouble.
lingering positive.
I had trouble unmuting myself. I could do that as well. Mike from Metacomet, as you can hear me. Can you hear me?
yeah, we can hear
Great,
you.
great. Thank you.
So, yeah, Carl, do you think that's something that you're okay with pulling together? for a
Okay, do we want to try and do something 3 days from now or wait until a week from this Sunday?
I think wait for a week from the Sunday, give a little more time, and then maybe
Okay.
the following Sunday as well, if that's possible.
Okay, so we'll shoot for trying to do something Sunday, the 22nd, or Sunday, the 29th.
Works for me.
It's afternoon. Okay, that sounds good.
Okay.
Do you want me to send the emails or are you gonna send them?
Yeah, and one thing that I need contact information for the property owner. Be able to reach out to them.
Tom, do you have that information?
Mike has that information.
Okay.
Okay.
Mike, you're muted again.
Apologize. Yes, I can send, I'll send that to Carl.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Okay,
Okay, we're all set with that one.
so that's a good start.
All right, is anybody else online that needs some discussion for anything, or did we cover everybody online?
This is Mike again from Metacomment. I was wondering if we could talk a little bit about this Gaskill CR, which was that part of your packet?
That's the one you sent us, or the one you asked to talk about earlier this week.
Yes, yeah. Well, just a little background. This one's been around for a while. It's the Pond Meadow State property. There's a requirement for a CR to be placed on the open space. And well, we had a draft CR that was reviewed by the state in 2020, and since then, really, it's been kind of inactive. But Metacomment is trying to kind of reinvigorate this one and get it over the finish line. This one has the rare species habitat wood turtle on it. So, and there's a permit that was granted by the Natural Heritage Program. So they're involved in reviewing the CR as well. What I've done is I've taken a look at the last draft from 2020, made a few updates to it, and sent it to you folks and to the state. Looking for any comments that you might have on it. And once we get any comments back from you folks in the state, then we can send it off to the Division of Conservation Services CR review folks, and they will look at it. They are fairly backlogged. I would guess, it would be months before they would get to it, but we could at least get it in their pipeline by getting them another draft. We do have a baseline report done, and also some of us walked out there a month or so ago and took a few notes that we will use to do an addendum to the baseline report. So I don't know if Ann, do you have any thoughts on this? I know you were certainly involved with this.
No, just that it would be important to get it in the pipeline because Metacomment is applying for a grant, and if they are awarded the grant, they can't get the money unless Mendon has updated their conservation restrictions. So it would be important for that.
Where is that report located?
Is that the report right there, Carl?
Yeah, let me get the right share window. Here we go. It's the one, that one. I should be sharing just the document now.
Anything about
Yep.
that subject?
Is this the correct document, the
Oh,
one that was sent earlier today?
It is, yes.
So what updates do you need the Concom to review this, or do you need us to work on updates?
Well, I've tried to make updates. If scroll down a bit, we'll see some of them. But I guess I would like the Concom and perhaps if you want to engage Mendon Town Council to take a look at it. Ideally, we'd have everyone's comments, edits made on a draft before we send it to the state. And then they could have make any last edits, and then once that's done, they would send it back to Metacomet and the town for signature. Again, I think this probably isn't going to happen anytime soon. They have a big backlog on their CRs, but it'd be nice to get in the pipeline. The text in blue, I think some changes I made from the draft, the 2020 draft. For example, updated the biomap habitat to include the new biomap. It's sometimes called Biomap 3 or just Biomap. And a few other, updates kind of went through it, but most of the critical stuff, the rights and allowed activities, pretty much didn't change much.
Now,
I'm not sure if Mendon, to what extent Mendon reviewed this in 2020. I wasn't working on this at that time.
I don't remember being asked to review this. Peter, do you know whether town council has been involved in previous CRs?
I don't know. I've looked to Ann to help as to what we've usually done, because we haven't really taken a whole lot of the lead on it, but
Yeah, it's really important that town council reviews it, and they'll go back and forth with Metacomet. So I would say if you all could review it, and I'll review it also, and then give Mike the comments, but town council needs to look at it
Okay.
after you all review it.
So what I'd ask is that this is on our SharePoint site. You can contact me if you have trouble finding it. And then what I would like to do at the meeting in 2 weeks is to be prepared to have a document that in 2 weeks, we would have another meeting with Metacomet if we had any questions about in this, with the goal of if there are no issues the Concom has, we would forward it to Ann and Town Council for further review. Does that make sense?
yes, makes
Yep.
sense.
Mike, why on that document is there a whole paragraph lined out?
That's the way Microsoft Word does stuff. This is the new text. This is the old text.
Okay, so you can compare.
Yeah, this is show comments is on. If you play around with the review stuff here and it changes stuff. Just make sure you do it on a local copy and not the actual document on SharePoint.
Yeah, download it to your desktop or whatnot, and make your comments.
Yeah.
John Giola, by the way, was the DCS CR reviewer at the time, but he's since left this program. Just wondering who he is.
Cal, can you go back to the map? Oh, right there, yeah. Now, are we looking at at the bottom of that, where all the
Yes.
wetlands and dotted areas are?
Yeah, the north is this way. So I don't know. I don't want to try rotating this because it's a Word document. But this is the road here. Here's the place. These are the two lots that we had the big problem with the stone wall. And this is the conservation area. This is Peter's house down here. Peter, is that correct? That's, yeah. And fortunately, we haven't heard any further reports of people coming in on dirt bikes along this area anymore.
No, but it wasn't Meta Comet, but CPA hired somebody to
The
stake
land steward.
signs, and there was one person who still kind of took the signs and moved it, but it's a lot better. So I guess we have a couple different people looking at the restrictions, so that's good. Good to have multiple eyes on it.
Is there a steward who is looking at this property? We should get them involved as well.
Unfortunately, there's no land steward on that property, unfortunately. It was Peter DeJong,
Right.
but he died.
And I've been serving
Oh,
in
okay.
lieu of it, but since I own property, I don't really want to serve that role. But the town hired somebody to stake the back lines because there were issues. So there are opportunities. I think everything was rectified except for the one, and it's not a big issue, but it's good to keep involved on it.
Okay, something we can discuss in 2 weeks is whether we want to try and find a replacement land steward.
And there might be someone in that neighborhood that would like to do that. It's nice to have the land steward live right near the property,
Mhm.
you know, and they have more interest in it. So we could send an email out at some point to them.
Okay, and going back up to the very top, the town of Mendon owns the actual property as part of the open space, and Meta Comet would be the grantee. They would be the ones responsible for taking legal action against people who are encroaching. Is that my correct understanding?
Yes, that's correct.
And what is the timeline for when you would want to have this updated?
I would leave that up to you folks.
Well, in order to meet your grant proposal deadline.
Well, I'm actually not sure since I know what was said. This isn't a CPA purchased property. I think for grant purposes, for state grant purposes, you know, what they want to see is any land that was purchased with CPA funds, you know, have a complete project. And if it needs a CR on it, it should have a CR on it. I'm not sure this is, you know, not having a CR on this should not really, you know, affect our grant application.
Okay, Peter, and the history of this is that this was the first town development where they had the very small lot sizes and gave the conservation land to the town. Is that correct?
It is, yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
And we've learned a lot of lessons.
yes.
Can I jump in for a minute, Carl? And is this the property that's at the end of Pond Street,
Yes,
where the wall was put in and the wall needed to be adjusted?
yep,
Did that ever get done?
it did. The developer did it. It took a lot of years, but it did happen, yes.
And he didn't do it the way we told him to do it, but
Came out okay.
yeah.
Mhm,
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was in the right spot, that's all.
mhm.
That was a little bit before me. So thank you. Okay, you know, from what I understand, we're gonna review this, we're gonna mark it up with notes and then get back in 2 weeks. Everybody okay with that?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find the letter or the report.
I can show you where it is on SharePoint.
I mean, I found the Pond Street Gaskill Metal CL file, but there's no Word doc for the report.
It's on the SharePoint site under the conservation restrictions. So you go to
Yeah, I'm
our
there.
here,
Yep.
see conservation restrictions, and all of the things we've gotten for last year are down in here. And the one we just got today is the Mendon CR number 11.
Oh, cool. All right, thank you.
Something that the agent will do is work on organizing things.
Do you have somebody?
We did, but they had to move out of state. So we're in the process of trying to work on someone else.
Oh, boy.
I'm actively working with David Demanch, and our HR person on that. So that's one of the other agenda items.
Yeah, so
Well, Carl, we talked with Mr. Byer, who said he was willing to provide a couple hours, which in the interim might be a good thing.
Yes, we have done a second interview on one of the candidates we had previously, and HR is going to be working through the process.
I found it.
So Dan had another meeting to do tonight, and he has another one in 2 weeks, but his Thursday evenings are free after that. So one way or another, we should have someone helping out with taking minutes and things. So, okay, that's agenda item something.
Yep, I found it. I'm downloading it right now.
Yep.
Agenda number 4.
Right.
So you're all done with the gas scale conservation restriction?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, at this point, it's reviewing it, commenting on it, and then getting back with everybody to discuss the comments.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good
Have a
night.
good night and weekend and all
Thank you,
that.
Mike. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Thank you. Your contribution is very welcome, and the fact that you volunteered to do your time is muchly appreciated. Thank you.
Well, I'm hoping that the 22nd works out and we'll all get together and meet face to face.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Kyle, did you want to start at the top now? Did you want to start with 5 Hartford Ave?
I think that's just left over because I wasn't feeling well.
Yeah.
We already talked with him. Is he? Or actually, let me share screen again. That's this button here. He has, this is the property in question. He is within the buffer zone. There's a stream running along in here within 100 feet of his house and the shed. And so what I basically sent him an email about is that our usual process is no heavy machinery in the buffer zone, no pulling up roots, but biffing down to surface level or a little below is okay. He's going to be getting a tree service, and then the tree service will work with us on what documentation they want the Concom to provide before they go and do the work.
Okay, and then
So-
maybe
so-
the day before they do it, give us a schedule or something?
Well, he's not here, so I expect he'll send us another email when he's ready to start doing more work on it.
Okay.
So I gave him the usual response.
Okay. So he'll come back and then we'll have more information and we'll process at that point. And there's nobody here for 10 Taft Ave, so.
But on 10 Old Taft Ave, the neighbor who thinks he owns part of the wall was here at like 7 o'clock.
Okay.
We told him it wasn't going to be till 8:30, but we also said we probably wouldn't do any business because we're still waiting for 10 to provide a plan. And the neighbor is aware of that. He just wants to make sure he gets a green card if we're going to have a notice of intent.
Okay. Yeah, up on sharing now is the email I sent to Michael Andrad. This is a summary of what we usually tell people.
And then item 6, Lake Nipmuc, we had a long detailed talk with a gentleman who was at our last meeting. So had off the record good discussion about keeping an eye on the lake.
Is he asking the Concom to take any action?
No.
No, he comes to make sure that we're aware of what's going on and that, he just wants to be part of the conversation. So as far as the task force goes, I wasn't able to attend the Tuesday Lake Association meeting because we were obviously busy with training.
Go. No excuses necessary.
And that's my report for today.
Okay, I'll go over the correspondence up at the top. Water and Wetland is partnering with Jones Lake Management. I checked in with Joe. He and his team are going to continue doing all of the site work. The partnership means that Jones Lake Management is going to take over the billing aspects and things and other back office paperwork tasks. So for all intents and purposes, we'll continue to work with Joe and his team. We just may get a bill from someone else. Second item that came in this week is from Ann Parnas. She saw Ann Mazar's newspaper article about the town meeting thing coming up about the proposed conservation restriction and purchasing permanent restrictions on the property on North Avenue.
Right,
And
Carl, she came in and we had a long discussion with her, and to tell her that it's not our call as to what that land is. It's still going to be owned by Vandersloot, so that she needs to get in touch with Vandersloot, and she should come to town meeting to support the town buying.
Yes. Okay. The other part of that is when the conservation restriction is written, we would want to have an allowable use be that kind of community farming activity, if she wishes to do that. So that was my observation about her request.
Now, would that be done at town meeting or would that be done before town meeting?
Town meeting is going to vote whether or not to allocate money to buy things after the town meeting approves it. I expect that all sorts of people will begin hammering out the CR itself. And Ann Mazar would take the lead on that, and then Annie Parnas would then go and work with that team. So I'm basically saying that's nice. It's not part of the Concom until the CR is actually in place and we're asked to help manage the CR.
And that would be a Mendon-owned CR, not a Metacomet?
The way things work is the Vandersloot's or whoever they sell the property to would own the property. The CR would be managed by Mendon, and we would be responsible for taking any legal action for encroachments, the same way that we are responsible for doing things with the Magoonin Farm.
Okay.
Okay, hiring new admin agent. I think I went over that enough.
Yeah.
Concom finances. Nothing, there's a check for $25 that we need to get deposited, so
Yep.
we'll
Who
see
does
about, okay, so that, that goes to this item, review request for determination of applicability, so
Let's put that on
Susan,
next
yeah,
week's agenda.
What is that plan?
It's not on the agenda right now. It's
well,
not
it,
already-
it showed up, I found it when I showed up this morning on our desk, and I sent email to him saying, could you please give us an electronic copy of it?
Okay.
So since I did not hear back from them,
Not talking.
I'm pretty sure I didn't hear back from them. Nope, don't see anything that he sent today. So I expect we'll,
Road,
oh,
Yes,
Allen Engineering. Yeah.
Yep. I don't see anything.
yes. So I expect that'll be on the agenda for next time. Building permits. There was a building permit today, but I didn't get around to it, so I'll have it listed next time. 3 residential building permits, 61 Taft Avenue. There are putting solar panels on the roof, and since they're not doing any earthwork or any extensions, that's not jurisdictional. 20 Thayer Avenue, 20 Thayer Road, they're expanding an existing deck. According to Mass GIS, there's nothing down here that's jurisdictional. So that's why that one's not jurisdictional.
Oh. Is that real?
Yeah, because they're my neighbors.
Whoops, this one. And this is a really fun address. I'd love to have this address. 8 Rod Road. They are rebuilding a porch. It is not, they're not within a buffer zone according to Mass GIS. So I clicked on that as not jurisdictional. There was one other thing that came in today for, okay, nope, that's Kyle's thing. We already talked to Kyle about it. Okay, I think that covers everything.
Yeah, number 9, Carol, the training budget. Did you want to do anything with that or?
Yeah, I can bring up the spreadsheet. Mhm. So we just had,
Number 10, 12.
yeah,
And 10, 10.
yep. So Leah, let me know when you're going to be able to start taking some of these classes. My plan, my plan is that after the class on 11/8, we will see who has attended which classes and then divide up the training budget. The MAC conference is on October 28th. So what I
Wants to speak.
Hmm?
Oh, okay.
It's not there? It's here somewhere.
Yeah, right there. There's one there and one.
Yeah, well, what I want to do is after you've actually attended it and got the email saying you got credit for it, then put in something in the attending column. You should be getting an email just like like this from MACC saying you've earned credits, and that would be the record that MACC thinks you've attended the class, and then you would request reimbursement based on getting the official letter from MAC saying that you took their class. So, where'd my spreadsheet go? Here it is. Right. So the Saturday, October 28th is the conference in Fort Devens. I am signed up to go to it. If other people are going at our next meeting on the 26th, we can discuss whether we want to do carpooling or not. So, Bob, have you signed up for the all-day event?
I did.
Okay, Leah, are you thinking of going? Okay, so Bob, we'll see if anyone else is interested, and we can talk about tootling on up.
I think that's a good idea, Carl. Going together, that way there, we'll have more time to discuss what we learned on the way back. I think that actually covers all of the tonight's agenda items. So I'll
go
make a
elbow
motion.
Susan.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Well, wait, there's some stuff that came in the mail.
Oh, well, what's that?
Sorry. Just some things about decisions of variances and whatnot. I think they're just for file copies for us.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ZBA stuff,
Yes.
which I tend to ignore because the ZBA stuff hasn't been in wetlands.
Right.
Oh, and eventually we'll reach out and work with Deshang about a site visit to Misco Springs. After I pointed out that, hey, Deshang recommended you fix things and you haven't done it yet, they're expecting that the next report that Deshang provides will have an update on all of those things, at which point we can schedule a site walk on a Friday to go out and take a look at how they're doing.
What do I do with these CBA letters? Just file them in the.
Stick them on the large pile on the desk.
Okay.
and,
I didn't realize they moved the desk.
and wait for an agent to come along and decide what to do with all of that paperwork.
All right, I'll put it in a folder and label it.
Yeah, there's a big pile on the far right hand side of the desk with all of the other stuff. The check, leave someplace that I can find it, and because I need to get that over to the treasurer to deposit in our wetlands
I can bring
fees
a
account.
key tomorrow.
Yep.
I'll just leave it in my car. It'll have crumbs all over,
Motion to adjourn? No, it's not my job, but
Do we don't use that, do we?
no, but be good.
I'd like to use it sometimes, just to, on people's heads.
Well, I had to use it last time when I tried to start the meeting and the people on the lake were gossiping about lake stuff.
Yeah, all right, motion to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Second.
Aye, aye.
Aye.
Thanks for all
All
your,
right.
Carl. Hope you feel better.
Yep. Oh yeah, I expect to be okay in another.
Do you need me to bring you some soup or something?
No, my swelling's pretty much gone down. I expect I should be okay in another day or two. All right, I'm going to stop the recording. Talk to you in a couple of weeks.
All right, Carl, have a good night. Hope